Hi, I'm Niels Johnson. I'm a technical evangelist with Symantec. And as such, I have spent the last 20 years traveling the world, talking to customers and partners about the risk landscape. And not so much that I have told them something new, but maybe more importantly that I have gained a great deal of information listening to their expertise. What I'd like to do with this series is to put in one place an access point where we can discuss, or at least I can express, a definition of risk, certainly not the definition of risk, but a definition of risk and what it takes to mitigate that risk. My intention is to deliver a series of videos focused primarily on the risk landscape and defining that risk landscape, frankly, from a historical context and a present-day context, and where we, the security industry, sees the risk landscape going, and then, as importantly, what kind of steps need to be taken to mitigate that risk. So this is going to be, if, for lack of a better term, an educational series. When I use the term video, what I don't want you to think in terms of watching me perform or be in front of the camera for any period of time. My intention is to use slides, PowerPoint slides, and graphics and those kinds of things, primarily because I can do this obviously a lot faster, a lot more efficiency, and hopefully there'll be some entertainment value along the way. I see these videos breaking out into three general topic areas, and to be quite frank, I don't know if they're going to necessarily run in order. I think as we get down the road, there's going to be the need to stop and respond to particular issues of that particular day. But in general, the three categories, if you will, of these videos is going to be about the risk landscape. Again, that's this larger global perspective of what's really sort of encumbering business from a risk perspective. And then a subset of that, which would be the threat landscape. That's about more focused on the security issues within the risk landscape and what it takes to, again, define and to mitigate that risk. And then as things surface, I also intend to take a look at some subjects or some topics that sort of point towards the future. I think it's important for us to be a little more proactive and not just look at what's happening today, but maybe track some trend lines to consider the kinds of things we should be looking at to deal with the issues of tomorrow. So my intent is not to get too granular with this particular video, but maybe more importantly to lay out where I see the rest of the videos going. It's important to acknowledge the fact that risk, or defining risk at any rate, is extremely, extremely complex. You can see by the graphic here that risk comes in a variety of forms, and there is none of these that are really independent of the rest. I mean, there's HR risk, there's PR risk, there's litigation issues, there's compliance issues, there's disaster recovery and business continuities, there's the threat landscape or the MAO. The whole point is that risk is very, very complex. And please understand, I have no intention of dealing with all of these different subsets of the word risk, but I do intend to deal at times with where these various components may impact the areas that I do intend to address. I just want to sort of demonstrate the fact that it's extremely complex and we can't separate one particular type from another. And then obviously as opportunity arises, we want to talk about mitigating that risk per our definition. That's really sort of my desire to get to that particular end result. All that being said, what I really do want to do is to explore the threat landscape itself. My intent is to go back and do sort of a historical setting, sort of from whence we've cometh, the kinds of things we saw late 1990s, and give you a sense of the progression through the course of time up to where we are today. And then obviously we can take a look a little bit into the future. We can, sort of extrapolate point A and point B to come up with point C. But the whole concept is this sort of never-ending spiral of levels of complexity, of technical expertise, of, frankly, motives have changed over the course of time. So I want to sort of describe what that threat landscape looks like, and then as importantly perhaps, what that threat landscape means to you, the business owner or the IT person. It's really a case of, okay, this is what it is, what does that mean, and then ultimately when we get to the mitigation pieces, it'll be what do we need to do to resolve those particular issues. So let me end with this. This is totally not about me by any stretch of the imagination. With YouTube being what it is and the ability to communicate back and forth, I really covet your input. If you have questions or comments about these particular devices, or perhaps some directions that you would like for me to consider going, I would be very happy to get that from you. and perhaps use that as far as future videos are concerned. So I hope this is of value to you. I hope you enjoy these, and again, I look forward to communicating in whatever form that takes over the course of time. Thanks.